Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Tundra. I don't normally make videos like this, but I'm kind of thinking of just kind of starting to just put my thoughts down on video, and whether or not I upload them to YouTube is one thing or the other. But I was kind of thinking, I was watching the Atmo Esports, what was it, the Daymar Rally yesterday. Really great time. I didn't have anything to do yesterday, so after I came back from the gym, I just freaking sat through about 7 or 8 hours worth. I think I saw this started at the very start of the race, and then watched all the way through to just about the end. And one of the things I noticed, other than like, okay, so I've never actually sat through a Daymar Rally before. I've heard about it in the past. Never really been that interested. I mean, like, you know, it's cool that like the Star Citizen community can come together and put these events together. And obviously, like, massive shout out to all those guys, you know, from the staff, the security, the event organizers, CIG for even allowing it to happen. All of that, super freaking amazing to be able to have this in Star Citizen, because I think, you know, these are one of the things that like make the game stand out, to where this community, the players, can come together and put together unscripted events. Unscripted, what I mean by not CIG making those, but, you know, players coming together and making events, and just, you know, it really just adds to the history of the MMO as a whole. But anyway, to get back on track, I'm watching the race, and I'm watching, I think it was Disaster Courier, right after they had just actually before that, near the start of the race, maybe 30 or an hour in. I'll have to get a video and maybe put it over this one, but 30 or an hour in, it might have been Disaster Courier or Ramp Rocks. One of the guys in the truck race started getting pounded by an arrow, and it was kind of cool because you could see him come in ominously, you know, and he's like, you see the ship hover over the truck, and then he just starts pounding them with lasers, and the truck goes flying, and you can hear the announcer getting excited. Croncy was, oh no, somebody call security, oh no, it's a huge event happening. And then the other announcer is just like, anyway, let's go on into something completely not interesting whatsoever.
Champions jacket, so they're super happy about that. Blackhawks, Ludox, the you know, lovely Italian folks. Dude, I really want to go to a Bar Citizen in Italy, man, and go see all these awesome people out there. Yeah. So one day, but yeah, Kronz. Oh, what?
We might need some security down on the floor.
Anyways, but yeah, I mean, that's but yeah, we'd love to go down to you know, to Italy and check out.
And I'm sitting here and I'm watching that, and I'm just like, dang, bro, like, sure, the race is fun, the race is cool to watch, but you guys have an exciting moment that just happened, completely unscripted. Some random guy flew in from out of atmosphere, started messing with the racers, right? And, you know, we had a potential whole event here where maybe like the, I don't know, Disaster Courier starts returning fire on the arrow, right, defending themselves against the ship, and maybe here comes security. Now security's pushing the arrow away. All right, so now, you know, now we've got the element of space combat. You know what I'm saying? We've got like high octane action, cars on the ground shooting up at spaceships, you know, other spaceships shooting at each other, and this is all during the Daymar Rally, and this is all to keep the racers safe on the ground, right? So why is that as soon as anything like that happens, the camera just shifts to some other buggy, you know, picking his way through rocks again, you know, just talking about, I'm not going to talk too much crap here about the announcer, because the announcers did a pretty good job for the most part. But the point that I'm making, this happened 3 separate times. One of those 3 times were pretty like, okay, come on, guys. But the other 2 times were legitimate events, to where it's just like, man, I really wish I could have seen more of that, right? So you see the initial attack, right? I'm pretty sure it was Disaster Courier, right? Disaster Courier gets knocked somersaulted by that arrow. The camera switches. I assume security comes and messes with him, because Disaster was still racing. They didn't replace the vehicle at that time, so they were still in the race. They didn't get destroyed, right? So it's not like, oh, this random griefer just completely destroyed the racer's race, and now they're out of the race entirely. They kept going, right? So we could have seen them recover from being attacked by the ship, right? So then whatever, we move on maybe an hour or 2 later on. Disaster Courier and Ramp Rock, I think that's what they were. Amazing fight, right? Amazing action. Once again, one of the best shots I've seen in Star Citizen on any, because I do watch a lot of the not Atmo Esports, but the SCR Racing League. I watch a lot of those. Those are, I don't know why those are so fun to watch for me, but anyway, we're watching amazing shot. You know, you've got Crusader in the background. You've got nice wide shot of Disaster, and they're shooting ramp rocks, and ramp rocks explodes, and they tumble and tumble. Great action, cool, awesome. That was amazing, right? Cool, because, you know, obviously it's ground on ground combat. That's what the race is all about. About a half hour later, Disaster Esports is in the lead. They're in the lead by like a good 10-15 minutes, probably like 20-30 kilometers ahead. That's a massive lead, right? And there it goes again. Lo and behold, the camera shifted to, and I'll bring this up when I go to edit this later on, but the camera shifts to what it looks like a driver swap, right? You've got the MSR just hovering above with the ramps down, and they're waiting for the driver to come up to the rear of the ship. And as they're there, another arrow comes in and lobs a rocket at them.
A party and launch experience, like we're launching the largest party groups that we've ever launched before. We had upwards of 183 in a party launch, you know, and trying to keep that server stable while all of those players are trying to get to Shubin. You know, it's a challenge on the game, and I think the rally really highlights, you know, what CIG are trying to do in that space with you know, server meshing and shard locations and all of that, and trying to make that work with these large groups and having large amounts of players in one space. So I think we're in the unique position to, you know, get these large groups and do what we do and hopefully test the servers for them a little bit.
And then the camera shifts to something else entirely. And I'm sitting here like, and the crazy part is that the announcers didn't even blink. They didn't even say anything about it. I don't remember what they were talking about. We're talking a major competitive event, right? We've got a pilot in the Daymar Rally, or a team rather, are doing some kind of crew swap, right? So, you know, they swap the cars out for different drivers so the guys can go take a breaks, go use bathrooms, blah, 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 right? As that already is interesting. I want to watch that happen again. I love watching the crew swaps, right? I don't know, one of the drivers, I think it was what a I can't think of the name. It's what a mesh racing for one of the bike races, right? Crazy. The guy blew up. Perfect turnaround time for the C2 to come by, land, pick up or drop off a new bike, and they're back in the race all over again. I love that, right? So that whole aspect of the racing, super cool. So here we are again, another crew swap, right? So Disaster stops. They're sitting there under the MSR. The arrow comes, starts to blow up one of the trucks, and before we can even see what happens, he just pans away to another buggy, just, you know, picking his way through the rocks, and they're talking about whatever the hell they're talking about. And I'm sitting here getting just a little bit frustrated because I'm a spectator, right? I love Star Citizen. I love this community event that they're doing. I love seeing all the action. I'm watching it for the action. I'm watching it for not just the racing. The racing's cool too, but I want to see action. I want to see explosions, right? This is supposed to be the dirtiest race in the verse, man. I want to see explosions and laser battles and whatever else I can see, right? And this is the second time that I've seen the beginning of some action happening after watching for an hour and a half and nothing's happening. They're just, you know, driving around and then talking about Star Citizen. We know we love that. We love talking about Star Citizen. I love hearing about different guys' opinions and all that kind of stuff, right? But now we're seeing some action, you know, for the first time in about an hour or so, and they just skip away from it because they're so afraid of showing griefers on screen, showing trolls, because, you know, they might entice other players to come do it for the publicity. And like that, I mean, I get it, right? To one aspect of that, okay? I'm going to be just kind of the devil's advocate here. I understand one aspect of that a lot, right? Because obviously it's the internet, and the internet being the internet, and there being very little, consequence for trolls. Like, that's always going to be a part of the game. That's always going to be a thing that you have to worry about, okay? However, Star Citizen being Star Citizen, and the verse being the verse, and the PU being what it is, there's nothing saying you can't hire more security, right? There were security guys there. You know, after a while, you were seeing that Disaster had an escort of a warden right? And a Mirai Guardian the rest of the flight, which is cool. That's cool, right? So obviously someone was picking up, hey, there's this freaking bad actor. He's messing with the drivers. Let's get some security to stay with these guys. And that worked. They didn't have any more issues for the rest of the race. Cool. Great. That's security did their job there, okay? But you don't have to completely just ignore that aspect of the race altogether just for the sake of discouraging people, because I feel like what you do is you take away from the race in of itself when that happens, because it's going to happen regardless, right? Imagine I'm watching Star Wars, okay, and I'm watching Anakin go through freaking, I forgot what planet, what Geonosis? No, it was Tatooine. Anakin flying through Tatooine, you know, on the super bike, and as soon as the Tusken Raiders start shooting at Anakin, we go somewhere else to watch Padme Amidala talk to freaking Jar Jar Binks about the state of the politics in Star Wars, because you know we don't want to bring attention to the fact that, you know, the Tusken Raiders are just bullying the races. We don't want more Tusken Raiders out there, you know, making more havoc, so we're not going to give them any attention. That's the same concept, right? That is literally the exact same concept of what just happened, because that is the most exciting part of that race is, oh no, yeah, we're racing for position and we're trying to win here, but now we've got a complete third-party actor that is not even a part of the race whatsoever affecting my race, or trying to anyway, you know, and how do I avoid that? How do I get around this obstacle, right? It's the same thing, man. Like, we have security. There's an entire org. I watched the prior interview. I think it was Corsair talking to might have been Space Tomato about this. They have an entire org, or at least a section of that org dedicated to security. Cool, great, fantastic. So whenever this happens, whenever there's any kind of you know, a conflict or any kind of third-party actor, security shouldn't be that far behind, right? This race is only 510 kilometers. That's not a far distance to fly on a spaceship. Like, come on. Like, you're in an Arrow, you're in an Interceptor, you're in a freaking Cuddy Black. You're covering that distance in a pretty short amount of time, right? So that is already, I don't think that's a really good excuse. You guys can get down on that bad actor, pound him up, kick him out of the AO, you know, the airspace, and then continue the race without making a whole big deal of ignoring it. Because what's happening there is when you ignore elements of the race, elements of the competition, whether it's player versus player or any kind of third-party player, I lose, as a spectator, I lose context, okay? So I'm watching Disaster Courier because I'm rooting for them the whole race. I thought that was cool. I don't know who they are from John. Again, my first time watching the race, but they gained a fan right off the rip when they were shooting at everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, screw you guys, we're doing this, I'm blowing you up, get the fuck out of my way, we're gonna win this race. I love that. I freaking was locked in from the start, right? I've been watching them anytime they were on screen, man, I'm focused in, I'm putting down my popcorn or whatever it is I'm doing, and I'm watching these guys race because they're interesting, they're fun to watch, right? So when I saw them get blown up by that Arrow, or, you know, when I saw them get messed with by that Arrow, because I don't know if they got blown up or not. Who knows? There was no one to watch them get. There was no context, right? I lost about 5 to 10 minutes of context after they switched the camera to something completely uninteresting. And then at the end of the race, Ramp Rocks comes in first. What the hell? Like, last I saw, fucking Disaster Courier was 10, 15 minutes ahead. What happened to those guys, right? So I lost 10 to 15 minutes of context on what the team that I was rooting for and watching and hoping for, all because the production team did not want to show any kind of anything when that might be trolling. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, you already have security in place to stop this. So what's the issue? Now, it's one thing if there's no security, and this guy can just completely just wreak havoc on the entire race. That's not what we're talking about. We have conditions in place in case a person like this wants to come in and mess with the race, right? So let him come in and mess with the race, right? Destroy him, get him out of the race, and then we continue on as normal, right? But to just completely ignore those events that are just as important as, you know, Disaster blowing up Ramp Rocks, or, you know, Whatamesh getting blown up and at the start of the race, or any other race, or, you know, any kind of crash or anything like that, right? They're just as important. They're just as interesting to watch from a spectator perspective. They're not going to ruin the race for me. I promise you. Like, there could be a fleet of pirates coming to, you know, wreak havoc on the race. That is interesting to me. I don't care what happens. I don't care if it completely derails the race. Now, obviously, I know that this is not what people want to happen. But I'm just saying, in terms of community created events, right? Community ran events in Star Citizen. If there was a fleet of pirates that came in to mess with the Daymar Rally race, and the race had to be canceled or put on pause while there is a space battle in Star Citizen, completely random, on the fly, happening above Daymar, all just to clear off those pirates and get the race back on action. That is cool as hell, bro. I want to see that. Like, I don't. Okay, let me take that back. I don't want to see it. I don't want people to actually go ahead and do that. But the point that I'm making is that would be as interesting as the race itself. Okay. So, wrap up my point. Let the verse be the verse, right? People are going to troll. People are going to troll in Pyro and Stanton. Anything that happens, any major event, anything like that, when any players come together, there's always going to be that one guy with the devil horns, you know, coming to, you know, stir up some strife, right? That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. He is a part of the community, just like the races are a part of the community, just like the cargo runner is a part of the community, just like the security guy is a part of the community, right? Like, that's just what happens when you are in an open world environment and you're doing open world stuff, man. That's okay, right? And I think they should just televise it, man. Let it all flow. You add intrigue, you add story to the event. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine we're watching, like, just think about the kind of story that would have been, right? You have Disaster Courier, and they're going back and forth with Ramp Rocks, and Ramp Rocks, you know, Ramp Rock gets blown up, and Disaster Courier's in the lead. He's in the lead with, you know, 100 kilometers left to go in the race, right? And then all of a sudden, an arrow comes and it blows up Disaster Courier. Now Disaster Courier, maybe his ship does get deployed, right? So now, or destroyed rather. So now the team ship has to come by and land, and now they have to spend all this extra time getting a new truck out there to get back in the race, right? And then Ramp Rock catches back up, right? During all this, a random third-party event, Ramp Rock catches back up, and now the race is back on again, and now they're fighting again, whatever the case is. That would have been so much cooler, man, than just, you know, just, I don't even know what happened, man. I see an arrow, he shoots one rocket at him, and then they went away for another 10 minutes, and then the last time we saw Disaster, he was back on his own again, like nothing ever happened, but he was somehow 5 minutes behind Ramp Rocks, which I could have sworn he blew up, and they were messing around there in the sand for a while to get their second truck back up. So I don't know, man. That's just my little take. Otherwise, I enjoyed the race. Super cool to watch again. I sat through all of it, damn near. So, you know, no bad will or anything like that on Atmo Esports. Again, I love the event they put together. I think that was really cool. I'm looking forward to next year for sure now. Again, now that I've been able to sit through now, that's freaking dope. Looking forward to next year. Looking forward to Star Citizen growing as a game and becoming more playable, and hopefully having a whole lot less bugs and server issues and all that good stuff. But that's one of those things. I was thinking about it, you know, for a couple days now. All right. I know I put some comments in the in the comment section of the Atmo Esports live stream there, the VOD. And again, no ill will. I just want to spark up some conversation, just see where all that folks are really thinking about that as well. Because again, like me personally, like it's just like streakers, right? In a soccer game or football game, right? You're gonna have those fans that are just gonna be a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, just doing a little too much, you know what I'm saying? But then you got security there to wrap them up. Just boom, just knock them the hell out, lay them out flat, drag them off the field, get them out of here. Cool, like that was fun, you know what I'm saying? For me as a spectator, too bad for that guy, but you know, for me that was cool, you know what I'm saying? Watching somebody getting laid out and dragged off the field. And let's go back to the football game. Let's go back to the soccer game, you know what I'm saying? It's spectator events, man. It keeps us engaged in the event. All right, anyway, I'm rambling at this point. If you sat through it all, I appreciate it. Don't know if I'll be making too many more videos like this, but maybe, you know, I do like talking to the camera. And I've got a bunch of other videos that I've just made similar to this. I just recorded and they're sitting on my phone, so maybe I'll just start releasing them. But anyway, I don't have a computer or anything like that, so I can't really do too much crazy editing that I know of. Maybe I can do it on my phone, we'll see. But just wanted to get my words out. Again, Daymar Rally was yesterday, so I thought I could put something down there and see what folks say. But anyway, hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys.